Now among those who went up to worship at the festival were some Greeks. They came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, and said to him, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus." Philip went and told Andrew. Then Andrew and Philip went and told Jesus. Jesus answered them, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly, I tell you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains just a single grain. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Those who love their life lose it, and those who hate their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, there will my servant be also. Whoever serves me, the Father will honour. Now my soul is troubled, and what should I say? Father, save me from this hour? No, it is for this reason I have come to this hour. Father, glorify your name." Then a voice came from heaven, "I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again." The crowd standing there heard it and said that it was thunder. Others said, "An angel has spoken to him." Jesus answered, "This voice has come for your sake, not for mine. Now is the judgment of this world. Now the ruler of this world will be driven out. And I, when I'm lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." He said this to indicate the kind of death he was to die. The crowd answered him, "We've heard from the law that the Messiah remains forever. How can you say that the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man?" Jesus said to them, "The light is with you for a little longer. Walk while you have the light, so that the darkness may not overtake you. If you walk in the darkness, you do not know where you're going. While you have the light, believe in the light, so that you may become children of light." After Jesus had said this, he departed and hid from them.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for having me along. I'm Mark Tizzard, and I work for the Southampton Methodist District as the Intergenerational Mission Enabler, helping churches and circuits think about how we encourage and facilitate discipleship amongst people of all ages. This morning I've been asked to share a few thoughts based on this passage in John. The hour has come. What struck me as interesting was that there were some Greeks there. Now, I wasn't initially what I was expecting to read, but these Greeks had come and they were exploring and they wanted to meet Jesus. And it got me thinking about what's happened in the last year. 24% or so, according to surveys, of British people have been engaging in Christian worship. They're looking for something maybe like these Greeks in this passage. They're looking for something spiritual. They're looking for something transcendent. They're looking for something that will bring meaning to their lives. Are we, like Philip and Andrew in the passage, willing to bring others to Jesus? But having done that, having brought these Greeks to Jesus, Jesus says something quite interesting. He says that unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, what a strange thing to say to people who are looking for spiritual food, who are looking for something. Sometimes you and I might get embarrassed when we bring our friends to church and the preacher, or if you show them this YouTube video, whatever, says something and you go, "What? That doesn't make sense." But actually, you and I, we're seeing, like maybe in the background here in this shot, as spring comes, life returns. That which has been hidden in the ground comes back to life. Jesus goes on to say that his soul is troubled. And we've got a lot of thinking to do, catching up to do maybe, around the subject of mental health. Jesus names it. Jesus says his soul is troubled. and then models for us two things, I think. One is that he says it out loud so that others heard it, but then he prays. Maybe we need to do similar. In the story, God's voice is heard from heaven. And sometimes we wish we heard from God more often. Pete Greig has written a very interesting book on prayer called God on Mute, which deals with when God's voice is not heard so well. But in this story, the voice is heard. Now, not everybody hears the words, but they hear the voice. Some think it was thunder, some think it was God. When we listen to God, sometimes we have to remember that God is not always in the thunder, but in the still small voice. Jesus goes on to say that he will draw all people to himself when he is lifted up. Now, we obviously, I'm assuming obviously, think post-Easter, post-resurrection, that obviously links to the cross. But indeed, this is before all of that had happened. Jesus is saying something, and I wonder how his listeners would have first thought about that. Reality is that all people, for all time, will come towards Jesus. Jesus seemed to have the ability of drawing people, like the Greeks, to himself, like the centurions to himself. Jesus' last words in this passage is, believe in the light so that you may become children of the light. So although we started in one way with the darkness, we finished with the light. We started with the idea of the seed falling into the ground and being buried. And now we're talking about the flowering bloom. We're thinking about walking in the light, living in the light, becoming children of the light. We believe in a gospel that is for all people. It is good news for all people. Let us this year, this Easter, continue to live and share the gospel light as children of light. So thank you for joining with us today. Have a great day.